Well, it's 10 o'clock sharp, Chris. What did we say we were going to do at 10 o'clock this morning?
Well, we're supposed to do a podcast.
Well, evidently we are doing a podcast.
With Ken Harding,
Yep.
president of our record label.
Hey, Danny, is Kenny out there? Have you seen him? I told him yesterday we had to start at 10 o'clock.
And it's
we got
10:02 now.
We gave him 2 minutes.
That's a good buffer.
We may have to bump him. I don't know. We've got things to do today. We are in Nashville.
Yes.
At Treasure Isle.
Yes.
With our good friend Joe Carroll. Working on a brand new Christmas album. What'd you say it been? How long has it been? How many years since Gold City?
Well, 1998 was when. No. That was when the day when Christmas album came out, and then 2003 was when the Gold City Christmas came
22
out.
years.
So it's been over 20 years.
Wow. How about that? How old were you in 03?
Well, I was getting ready to graduate high school.
So about 23?
Yeah.
No, Chris was an exceptional student, model student, I'm sure. I guess we could tell facts about Kenny.
We can. He's
Ken Harding.
Ken Harding, he's the president of New Haven Records.
Yeah.
Which has been the home of Gold City for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Since 2005, I think, is when they signed with New Haven. And so
He's got a long career in gospel music.
A long career.
He's old as Methuselah.
And he is. I don't want to give away what he's going to talk about,
No.
but he's been with some of the greats in gospel music and been a part. There's a story I want him to tell that he's told me personally that is a real cool story of an album cover that he did when he was with either Canaan or Word. I can't remember which label it was, featuring the Gaither Vocal Band.
Well, cool. I didn't know that. That's another Chris Jenkins historical gospel music fact. You need to write a book, but I need to write it with you so I can get some of the royalties if it makes any money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've told you this or not, but since we're doing this, we host this together.
Right.
I think it's only fair that anything that you make in the future, I get a percentage of.
That sounds fair. Are we going to merchandise this thing?
Yeah.
And,
I thought we would.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to keep mine for myself.
Oh. But you want half of mine.
Well, that's called age and experience.
That's like my wife. She said, "What's mine is hers, and what's hers is hers."
And I know Jaquita, and I believe her.
Yeah,
I believe that's the truth. Well, we're gonna get with Kenny later today. I told him multiple times. Oh, I'll be here at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock sharp. And I told him we have to start at 10 because we're planning to do another recording since we're here with somebody that we're very excited about having on, way more excited about having on than Ken.
And it just makes us fall behind.
Now we're going to be up against it all day long.
That's right.
But let's talk about the Christmas album while we're sitting here waiting on Ken Harding.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You hate Christmas music?
Well, it's not that I hate. It's just.
Oh, you're not going to be that honest.
That sounds bad when you say it like that. It's not my favorite type of music.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way. And it's Christmas music is hard to sing. I do love good original Christmas music.
Yeah.
Like there's Christmas music that I enjoy.
What are some of the songs?
Well,
I'm kidding. You don't have to say it.
But a lot of the same traditional tunes, they have been overdone and done so many times. It's hard.
And
they
honestly were done incredibly back in the day when they were new songs. You go back to Bing Crosby area and Nat King Cole and all the stuff that those legends were doing.
It's hard to top Nat King Cole's The Christmas Song.
Yeah.
Or, Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Right.
Or, it's just hard to top those. But I think if we can find new ways to do it, which I think we are.
Yeah.
We've got Cliff Duran, our producer for this record, and he has got some out-of-the-box ideas that I think are really good. And what we've done so far in the studio as far as tracking, I'm excited about.
I was very well pleased with yesterday how it went. Coming off of doing the last couple of things with Gary, the neat thing whenever Gary passed away, Cliff actually reached out, and he has worked with Gary for a long time, orchestrating for Gary. Gary was so particular about the orchestration fitting his tracking and his build it all around what he was doing. And Cliff reached out and said, I know that it's very soon, but whenever it's time, I would like an opportunity to talk to you guys about producing. If anybody understood what Gary did and how he did it, it would be Cliff.
Yeah, because Gary was supposed to produce this Christmas record for us, and it kind of got, matter of fact, we kind of, the last part of another record that we were working on, we kind of had to finish ourselves, and Danny and us kind of helped produce the rest of that, and then Gary was supposed to start on the Christmas record.
All the tracking and orchestration, Gary and Cliff had already completed.
Yes, most of it was already completed.
About 7 or 8 songs into that with the vocals and that, and we knew where we were going on, where he was going on all that. So, but the new arrangement stuff, like this would have been, we were clueless. No. And I honestly, because we had it in the works that we're doing a Christmas tour, actual official Christmas tour this year with some special guests. We'll announce that later. We will have full production live band at those dates. It's going to be a spectacular show.
It's going to be great.
So we needed something new that was of us. The Gold City's 3 Christmas albums. The past 2 years, we've worked off of those 3 albums, and it was great. People loved it, and we actually have all 3 of those projects on Win USB now too, because people wanted to take it home.
You can order that at goldcityministries.com.
Yeah,
we'll ship it right to you.
Yeah,
but
Chris might hand deliver it. You don't know.
No, I might.
Hey, buddy, good to see you. We had a discussion yesterday about when you would be here.
Warmed up yet, Jackson.
Well, come on around. Do you need to go? I know you're old. Do you need to run to the restroom or?
Well, I gotta say, I am so honored to be part of this because y'all are pretty famous out there now.
Well, don't tell anyone.
I mean, I heard that your podcast actually influenced the last presidential election.
Well, considering we wasn't doing it, and it was it was coming, it really did. The people heard about we were going to do this, and they just started voting for Trump.
I think you're getting us confused with Joe Rogan.
Oh, this isn't Joe Rogan's podcast.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is Double Take the podcast. It's not. Do you still want to do it?
Not really. I thought it was. I thought this was a lot bigger than the thing y'all do.
No. Well, brother, you're a guest on it, so how is it going to be too big?
That speaks a lot for your show and your need for guests.
Tell us about the things that we don't know about you. I want to know your upbringing a little bit, how you got the love for gospel music, all that happened before you ever became a music mogul.
Or what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
Well, I mean, I grew up, listening to, rock and roll, the Beatles and
I love the Beatles.
Those kind of artists. And
you mean they were a band when you were a kid?
Well, I was a lot older when I started listening to them.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up in a Christian home. We were at church Sunday morning, Sunday night. There was one house between us and an independent Baptist church. And our preacher would have groups come in like Big Lou and the Prophets, the Downings, the Florida Boys. Henry and Hazel Slaughter were there once a year, every year.
Every year.
And
where did you grow up? Tell me. You might
here in Nashville.
Here in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I got older, I know y'all are going to find this hard to believe, but I kind of got a little wild, there for a period, and then got back into the church and started singing in the choir. So our choir director picked 4 of us out of the choir and formed a quartet.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were called the Exaltations.
That makes sense.
And, boy, we couldn't afford suits alike. We could only afford shirts alike. So one day I took a little cassette recorder over to our rehearsal a preacher's wife played piano and recorded our rehearsal. and I played it back, and we never performed again.
You said, "Oh, that's what we sound like." I bet you were heartbroken.
We were horrible.
Yeah.
But you know how people are in church. They come
yeah.
up, "Oh man, you just blessed my heart."
Yep,
We're like, "Oh
yep,
yeah."
yep.
I tell people the first time I sang for Jesus. The second time I sang, I wanted to hear the applause. Well, the bad news was it wasn't much applause.
It wasn't happening, so that wrapped up your singing career.
Yeah, so I had no talent, so I thought, well, I might as well go into the record business.
There you go. Well, how
great.
did you go from growing up here in Nashville to the music business? How did you break into that?
Well, back to the church. There were two men that I worked with. I went to church with, and they worked for a company that Paul Downing had just sold to Dwayne Allen of the Oaks, Noah Fox of the Oaks,
Wow.
and Aaron Brown, which ran their publishing companies. So he offered me a part-time job working there while I went to college. And so I started working there and ended up going to college at night and working there full time. Well, Dwayne had a studio in his house. So he moved it into a building in Hendersonville and started Superior Sound Studios. Mm-hmm. So I started hanging around the studio every night when I wasn't working.
How old were you?
I think I was 12. I was
Come on,
in my
early 20s.
Yeah. And so so I started booking sessions and handling all the production.
You just kind of went to work you were there.
I was there, and they needed somebody to do it. Did the marketing, did ads. I should have brought some of our ads that were really cool, man. We did some great stuff. And then we had a little label called Superior Records, and we had Keystones.
Yeah, I remember
Joe
that
Bonzel
label.
And Dave Will. And
so that was that early 70s?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I worked that was just Dwayne at that point, the studio part. So after being there for about 5 years, Marvin Norcross at Canaan, who was kind of the co-founder of Word, I got to know him through a friend of mine that went to work for Word in the publishing department for Marvin, and he offered me a job.
Wow.
So I moved to Waco, Texas. Wow. And he kind of split the roster. He had the Inspirations, the Goodmans, Jimmy Davis, the Lewis family, and I took the Cruz family with me. And I got the Thrasher Brothers, the Singing Christians, which became the Mercy River Boys, the Cathedrals. I signed Teddy Huffman in the Gyms.
Wow.
Was the Goodman still on that label at that time?
Marvin had the Goodmans.
Yeah.
So wow. I worked there for in that division. Marvin died in 1980, but in 1979 we went to the White House for Jimmy Carter had a gospel singing and There on the Ground, and I already loved black gospel music. So Shirley Caesar was there and the Mighty Clouds of Joy.
Holy smokes!
So when I came back, I moved back to Nashville in 1980. And I said, what do you think about us getting involved in black gospel music? And he said, let's do it. So we signed Shirley Caesar. That was 79 because Tony Brown and I produced our first record and it won a Grammy. And then that started a whole new label called Rejoice Records with the Williams Brothers, Albertina Walker, Reverend Brunson, Al Green.
Wow.
And then unfortunately Marvin passed away in 1980. So I took over the rest of the artists and hired Andy Talbert to be my A&R assistant. So
there it was.
So then I started.
What was the name of that record company at that time?
Well, it was Canaan.
That was Canaan.
That was I took over the Goodmans and the other groups, and then and we signed the Tallies back then. Yeah. And then I had some artists that didn't fit Rejoice or Canaan. People like Kelly Nealon Thompson, her solo records. Johnny Cash, we did a record with Cash.
Oh my
Gaither
goodness.
Vocal Band. Glenn Campbell, Lulu Roman Smith, Terry Gibbs. So ran those three labels until I left and started New Haven.
Yeah.
So I was telling Josh this before you came in. You've got a really cool story about one of the Gaither Vocal Band album covers, and I want you to tell the folks about that.
Oh, the one
I think it was your idea.
the balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. We now I'm drawing a blank on the title.
Heavenly Point of View.
Was that
Wasn't
the title
it?
of it?
Yeah. Or
Wow.
Heaven's Point of View.
I think it's Heaven's Point of View.
Larnell was with the group at that time.
Yeah. Larnell was-
English there also. At that time.
English.
Was
he
Lee-
wasn't?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Who would have been
I
singing?
know Larnell was there. It was about their
Steve Green.
third
I
or
can't-
fourth record.
Yeah, we were. We decided to do it in a balloon with a hot air balloon and them in the basket.
Wow.
Well, trying to control a hot air balloon with 4 or 5 guys in there.
You didn't have drones back then to fly up and take the shot either.
No,
so you had a
we had to
photographer
do-
that had to figure something.
So we hired a crane and went out to Percy Warner Park, and that crane lifted up that basket. And I mean, some people thought it was Photoshop, the basket in the picture,
There
but
was
no,
no Photoshop back then.
no, well, not really.
Oh, you just splice the images together, but you couldn't.
I wish there was.
Well, yeah, of course, we all.
But yeah, that was a very cool cover. We took a lot of pride in our covers.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were
those
really-
albums were iconic. I mean, it was a time when the album cover was a huge deal.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of times it's what sold the album.
I miss that so much.
I do
well,
too.
I don't miss carrying around 2 boxes of LPs.
No.
Trying
Yeah.
to catch a flight, that's pretty.
Well, that's
Pretty hard
makes
on
it,
you.
Makes it different.
But
That's coming back in. Like, I mean, we've been talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl collectors and people now. Sadie, Danny's oldest
Oh, yeah.
daughter, is so knee deep into vinyl right now because it's
Oh, yeah.
nostalgic and it's cool and it's different. And these kids growing up now, they haven't held an actual product.
No.
So having something they can actually hold, read the liner notes, everything that's going on, it's just really cool.
I saw a statistic the other day that back in 2021, vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in 35 years or something like that. It was in the mainstream
Yeah.
world, it was
Yeah.
it's a big thing.
No, we had success bringing Pillars of Faith back out and putting it on
Oh, yeah.
vinyl. People,
It was a limited run, and
they love.
we've
man.
already
they're
went
gone.
through.
Yeah,
they're
all
gone. But you're right. The album covers were so iconic, and that came along. We've talked about the double take cover,
Yeah,
about how they were standing on stage and they were also sitting in the audience. Do you remember seeing that cover?
Yeah.
But there was no Photoshop back then. But that made people want to buy the record.
yeah. It was a piece of artwork.
And now Kenny wants to put just a picture of Gold City standing side by side on. the
yeah,
album cover.
or
That's what we get stuck with.
Christmas album with some that
We
was
don't even get on the
lame.
cover of the Christmas album.
No, they put us on the back.
Well, that's more management's fault than the label.
We'll throw that one on Joel, won't we?
Well, I'm not going to mention any names.
We could have at least gone to the Swiss Alps and taken a.
Well, he said
picture.
last year at the Right Now album cover shoot, he said, let's do the Christmas album, and we're going to Aspen.
I know.
And now he's told me that he meant he was going to Aspen.
Well, I'm
he-
going to go scout a location this fall, this winter.
for our next Christmas
I
album,
figured
which will be in
you-
another 20 years.
Yeah, or either we'll change the one that y'all don't like right now.
That's hey.
I
there we
figured
go.
you
Okay.
blew your budget on Gordon Mote and you didn't have enough funds to fly us out to the Swiss
Well,
Alps.
Money's not an object for New Haven Records.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It's not for Gold City either, obviously.
Exactly.
So tell us.
Hey, hang on before you move
okay.
into another topic.
Go ahead.
So, what year did you go on your own with New Haven?
1977, I think.
Okay, that early?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, 80s. I'm sorry.
87. I was thinking of
87,
tallies.
sorry. Yeah,
You got me with the tallies. I was a huge tallies fan.
yeah.
Man, I thought Kirk was I still think Kirk's probably the greatest gospel music singer on stage.
Communicator. Yeah.
I've never. He captivated. He held the audience in the palm of his hand. When he left the cathedrals, I was a little kid. What that would have been 82, 83 when he left. They started the tallies. I told my mom and dad I would have been 6 years old. I said, "Well, the cathedrals are done."
Well, I talked to Gaither.
That's what Danny thought too. That was his favorite lineup.
Yeah.
With Kurt.
Oh yeah.
Well, I talked to Gaither a few months ago, and he called because that Something Special record that Kurt was on, the last Cathedral record with Canaan.
Yeah.
I called Bill and asked Bill if he would produce it, and he said sure, because they've been cutting up in Ohio,
Right.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, with Carol Rawlings up there at
the studio of the church. So I finally talked them into coming to Nashville. So I asked Gaither if he would produce it, and he said, sure. I didn't know Gaither had never produced anything before.
Wow.
Till recently.
You gave Bill Gaither his shot.
I gave him a break. Yeah, that's what he says. So we cut out at Woodland Studio, and so back in the day, you just pretty much had a feel for some songs, and then you'd hear songs the day you were cutting.
Yeah.
Right.
So Gaither said, "Yeah, that Kurt Talley came in." Of course, he was laughing about it and said, "Because what better writer is there than Bill Gaither?"
Right.
He said that little stinker came in and he had all these great songs.
Yeah, he did.
And he did.
Yeah.
And Gaither still got some songs on the record, but that record,
it's worked out for him.
I can't remember the exact number that Gaither said that he had been paid on as a producer, but it was a lot.
Wow.
And you gave him his start.
Well, no, Gaither.
Look, Ken, I'm telling everybody that you did. I think it elevates.
Bill,
Gold
if you're
City.
listening to the Joe Rogan podcast here.
So that would have been 87 when you went
Yeah.
and did the
New Haven.
New Haven.
First artist we signed was the Florida Boys.
So at that time, were you running Canaan?
Yes. I was running Canaan, Word Nashville, and Rejoice.
So what happened to go? I'm doing this on my own. Was there just some things that you didn't like going on, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I went to work for Word, they had just been bought out by American Broadcasting Company,
Okay.
ABC. And about a year before I left, Cap Cities bought ABC. And the corporate climate changed, and Gerald McCracken, that was the founder, he left. And I didn't really like the feel of the company. And, there's a time where, you think that you're smarter than everybody else. I know y'all never feel that way about Danny.
No more than once or twice a day.
Yeah, I know how y'all feel. So I just felt like it was time. And it was unbelievable how, thanks, to God, I mean, everything we did, I mean, it was like we'd step out and not know if we were going to make it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a door would open. And our distributor, right after we started, named Spectra, went bankrupt, owing us quite a bit of money. We just released our second Glenn Campbell record. It just shipped, and they filed bankruptcy.
Wow.
And my sister-in-law, was our controller at the time, I said, add up all the money we owe people and all the money that we have coming in from other sources. And when she did that, if we got all the money that would owe us, it would have paid all of our bills. So we stayed with it.
Worked out.
I went home and went to bed. When I went to bed, I went to sleep. I didn't even worry about it.
Wow.
Now your budget has me pretty worried right now.
I would be worried too if I had to pay the bill.
Yeah, the way y'all kind of go over budget. So
Yeah, but he totally shafted me on that lunch yesterday. He didn't tell me he was buying. Usually, what I love to see when Kenny comes up, I'm like, get to eat. And he didn't bother to tell. I was at the front of the line.
Well, I was behind you, and I got up, and she told me my total, and I reached for my wallet, and the Lord just laid it on Kenny's heart at that moment. He said, "No, I've got theirs." He said, "Put all that on mine."
Well, you owe me a
until Josh went through the line.
Yeah, that's it. You owe me a 20
Right.
spot, just so you
Well,
put it on the budget, right? I'll see if I can get it.
Some money today.
Hey guys, I want to take just a second and let you know about a very neat tour that we have scheduled for later this year called the Hits and Heritage Tour. It's Gold City along with our friends the Hoppers and the fantastic Joseph Habedank. It's going to be a great night and tour of incredible songs. It's called Hits and Heritage for a reason. We are staging the hits of all the songs from, well, not all, it'll take forever for us to do that, but the Gold City songs that you all know so well, the Hopper songs that you know so well, the Joseph Habedank songs that you know so well, not just from Joseph's solo career, but also from his career with the Perrys and singing with other groups. Joseph has had a very long career in this industry. You're going to love this tour. So be watching for the cities that we'll be coming to, and we hope to see you there.
But New Haven has had a lot of success in and of itself, not just in gospel music, but
Gospel music.
well, but I mean,
I know
not
what you're
just with
saying.
gospel artists.
Yeah,
I should
Glenn
say that.
Campbell.
But Glenn Campbell and you've put out albums with Al Green, and you've had a lot of success from recording a lot of those artists on the Christian side through your label, and I think that's remarkable.
Glenn Campbell's one of the most talented
Oh my goodness,
singers, musicians that ever lived.
Yeah, Glenn. When I was at Word, we signed Glenn, and because I was doing the Word Nashville label, of course they said, Kenny, you're gonna work with Glenn, and I was thrilled, you know. And the first record, Glenn had all these songs, and we cut it with his band, and I was in a marketing meeting, and the choral department went before me, and they played this song called "No More Night." So I took that to Glenn. It was the only song I got on that record.
Wow.
And it was the title of his album, and it did very well. Then when I left Word, they did a hymn record on Glenn. It didn't do too well. So it was like 5 years later, and Glenn had been collecting these songs. So once again, I called Gaither, and I said, you want to co-produce a record? He said, sure. And I said, Glenn Campbell. He said, okay. So that record was great. So we did, I think, 4 or 5 records with Glenn, including a Christmas record. And Vince Gill came over and did a duet with them.
Holy smokes!
But yeah, Shirley Caesar. We've done a lot in the black gospel world. We love it. I've always loved black gospel music. It's just
Chicago Mass Choir.
Chicago
is on your label.
Mass, Joshua's Troop,
Yeah.
New Direction. Kevin Davis and the Voices out of Memphis, a lot of things. Then we did a project. We can do anything we want to do, but
Right.
we're not a contemporary gospel label. That's not in our really wheelhouse.
Yeah,
We're not a praise label. There's other people that do it so much better than us. But like we did a children's project with Kathy Lee Gifford a few years ago. We did a documentary. We did a documentary on the Chuck Wagon Gang a few years ago with Marty Stewart. He produced a record. We picked that up and then did a documentary.
So how do you go about? This is always fascinating. How do you go about doing an album with Kathy Lee? What?
She came in our office to our co-publisher at the time, Michael Purrier, was meeting with another writer, publisher, a person in the choral music area, and so they wanted to use our conference room for a meeting, and he didn't even tell me who it was with till like the day before.
Yeah.
And because when people come into, we were in the Providence Sony building down in Cool Springs, and so we always have food and water and coffee and all that stuff. And so I said, by the way, who's coming in? He said, Kathy Lee Gifford. I said, oh, okay.
And this was in the height of Regis and Kathy Lee.
No, this was on when she was on the Today Show.
NBC. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
So
she was
after.
on TV in front of millions every day.
Golly.
So I had to go tell the person at the front because they made you show your driver's license when you came into the office.
That's funny.
So so we met that way and we started talking and she said she had a project she's always wanted to do, and I said, let's do it.
There you go. So she came to you. That was.
Yeah. Well, she came for a meeting.
Yeah, but I mean,
and then we ended up talking,
Yeah.
and
She had the idea.
oh yeah, she had the idea.
Wow.
She was great.
That's neat. So
and
then
along about 04 and 05, you said, of all these artists I've got on my roster, there's just one more artist that I need, and I'll be satisfied. And you went and sought out Gold City.
well, he didn't get the one he was talking about, but then he got Gold City.
Boy, that's good.
That is good.
That is
so
good.
how did Gold City come to be one of your artists?
Well, I was always a big fan. Probably my 2 favorite groups would have to be the Cathedrals and Gold City.
So I think that's for a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I remember driving up right after I left Word. I drove up to Kentucky to a high school gym to see Gold City. Well, I had a flat, So I'm changing the flat. I had a big old Lincoln Continental Mark V, just a tank. And so I go into the bathroom, and I'm changing the tire. And I mean, I got dirt and everything all over, And in walks Ivan and 2 or 3 other Ghost City people.
Wow.
And they said, I mean, this is in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And they said, what are you doing here? Well, and there I am with dirt and mud all over. So, needless to say, they didn't sign with me right then.
Were you were you thinking to go ahead and sign them then? Is that what you were
yeah,
shooting
but I
for?
just started knew, hey, they were going to sign with
Yeah.
me. If I'd offered them a
That was
brand
They were with
that
the
was
Benson
late
company.
'80s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they were hitting it. They were hitting it.
They were hitting really good. So a few years later, somehow or another, we got talking about doing a very best of. And we do a lot of licensing projects. We don't do a lot anymore, but we used to. We've done several with the Country Music Hall of Fame and the International Bluegrass Music Association. We had the #1 best-selling album in the Country Music Hall of Fame store for years.
Wow, what was it?
Country Music Hall of Fame presents country's top 20 gospel songs of the century.
There you go. Yeah.
I think it sold so well because the title was so long.
Oh, that was your idea.
Well, yeah, of
I mean,
course.
you can't claim credit for everything, but that one was yours.
That was the whole cover. There was no picture in there. But so we licensed. So we did this project called The Very Best of Goat City, and then we did a documentary, and we also did that patriotic medley.
Yeah.
Which back then, a lot of stations still played a video at the end before they signed off.
Right.
And there were a lot of stations across the country.
Yeah.
And we got it on CMT. CMT was playing a lot.
Now, for the kids that never experienced that, at midnight every night,
yeah.
the stations, we only had four channels, unless you had cable. We didn't have cable. But you would, if you were up that late, they would do the national anthem, and then it would go to snow on the TV.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's a couple of generations now that had no idea that was even a thing. Did you even know that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
I was around, but we had cable by the time I was a teenager.
You were one of those fortunate, wealthy
Well, I
families.
grew up in the city,
We still don't have cable at our house. We don't get the Grand Ole Opry till Wednesday. That's how far out in the country poor we are.
So that started. That would have been. So that was that video was done with Jay, Jonathan, Danny, and Tim.
Yeah.
Right.
So then they went and signed with another label, which was fine. They weren't on any kind of contract. Then a few years later, it came back around, and this is ironic. I was going through some old sales conference DVDs that we've done over the years with our distributors, and in 2005, we announced at our December sales conference that we were signing Goat City.
Wow.
And releasing a Christmas record.
So that was the first. That album was the Christmas. Wow.
That was when we released the Christmas record.
In 05.
In 05. So 20 years later, here we are in the studio.
How about that?
Recording
the
second Christmas record in 20 years.
20 years. Ain't that? That's very cool. I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't either. I'll have to show you guys the video, the sales conference video. It's really cool. So, so we started working with Danny, and
Danny took a little bit of a. I interrupt
go ahead.
a lot. I'm sorry. Danny took. So at that, shortly after that, Jay left. Jay Perrick left the group. Steve Ladd was there. A little different singer,
Bill
different
Lawrence
type singer. Bill, So that, but then he had to go, because of the singers, he had to go a little different direction with the music. And that's when Michael Sykes came in and Michael English came in and started producing some things. And it went that way, and they did some incredible songs and some incredible albums through that time. And you can get those on the USB now that's got the new album on it.
That's right.
All those albums are on there.
That's right. GoldCityMinistries.com. We'll ship it to you.
Yeah, Chris might even bring it. You don't know. That's the surprise. You never understand.
Take it to him.
Kenny
I've
could.
got some time.
Kenny's saving on shipping. He's just taking them.
Yeah. As long as I don't have a flat tire, I'll do it.
But they went a different direction with the group and the sound. And then with this album, that same, we were talking about that earlier before, I'm not going to bring up that you were late again, but before you got here, we were discussing this Right Now album that had started. Michael had started, Gordon had started that, and then I want to thank you. I want to take this second to publicly thank you for allowing us the grace and it takes a lot of trust to change in the middle of an album, but we just all felt so strongly. Gary was such a close personal friend of mine, and he needed it. Mm-hmm. You got to know that he needed it at the time. We needed it, and I just want to thank you for allowing Gary to come in and do that album.
Well, I mean, y'all were so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And, and in hindsight, it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, when you try something new, I'm a creature of comfort.
Yeah.
And I work with people that I work with a long time because I get into a routine. It doesn't make it right. It's just a matter of opinion. But y'all, especially you, I know, had a passion to bring Gary back. And I'd worked with Gary back several times and loved Gary.
An incredible album with him, with
Steve Brock. Yeah.
And amazing.
I think he played piano on a J.D. Sumner last album that we put out. I believe he played on that. Yeah. But I loved Gary, and but it was different. And so he had a different process, as you both well know.
He didn't have a process.
Well, his process was he didn't have a process.
That was it. And, it was create as he went, and then the end product, you're going, holy smoke.
Absolutely. And I'm sitting there going, wow. As at the end, Danny said, well, I was not totally sure till the end, and I'm like, I'm still not sure. It's just, but it turned out great. And Gary, I've told both of y'all. Just before he passed away, he called me one day, and we talked for about an hour. And when I hung up, he didn't really ask for anything. He never, we just talked like the old times.
That was him.
I wouldn't take anything for that.
No, that was him.
I mean, it makes you realize you need to treat everybody like this may be the last time you see them again. If there's anything I learned from that experience, and to you. What you did for Gary that last year and a half. I think you said it yesterday, Josh, that we're glad that we went through this process before he passed away, because he ended on a real high note.
He had been the past, and I've said this, I'll tell the story at some point, the past 3 or 4 years. It had been a really hard downtime for him, and he needed it. Mm-hmm. But what he didn't understand was we needed it. And we needed it more than he needed it. There was an excitement for this group because it was nostalgic to the era that he created.
Yep.
I mean, he was the guy that they would stage songs before they ever recorded them and have their arrangements worked out. So all that any producer had to do before he started producing was he had an incredible arrangement sitting in front of him. All he had to do was chart it and rock on. Well, then Gary started co-producing, and then it turns into – but Gary created that sound as a 19, 20-year-old kid.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, those were big songs, big era for y'all. I mean, it was
he dropped out of high school to go do music, which was that's what a lot of them did back then. They would get to 16, 17 years old and have an opportunity to go play, and their parents would allow him to do it, and that's what he did. And he corresponded and did all that later on. But just the talent that he had and the sound that he had, we were hearing it left and right. Our fan base wanted to hear classic Gold City. Well, you can't recreate classic Gold City. You can't. You're not going to do that. But what Gary did was he brought, because of his experience and what he did with Gold City, he brought that and brought it to this era. And it was magic. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that now. Rise Up has went nuts on the charts.
Oh, yeah. And everybody's so excited. They were so excited when we announced that we were bringing Gary back. And I told Josh yesterday, I said, I got a little sad coming to the studio because the last time we were here, we were recording with Gary. And it was an honor for me to work with him because I'm like, here we are creating this new Gold City music with the man that I grew up.
Well, you were starstruck. You were a bit star. I remember. So the first night I went out with the group just to fill in.
Right.
I Gary, it was a wild story, and I've told it. But Gary ended up. We didn't know this. He didn't know I was going to be in Mobile with them, and I didn't know he was coming. I had been after him for 2 years to come back to Florida, to that area, to get back there and get around his family, and get around us, and get around, and just because I wanted him closer, because he was in a state that he needed some encouragement, and that. I woke up and I'm looking at on Facebook, and he posts a Waffle House sign, says he's on a road trip. I don't know if I've told you this. And I was sitting at the Waffle House. I couldn't find the coffee on the bus. I was sitting at Waffle House. So he was at another Waffle House, but the Waffle House deal. So I called him. I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm about 2 hours out of Mobile." So I said, "You have to come by. You've got to come by and hang out." And he said, "I don't nobody want to see me." I said, "Buddy, I want to see you. I ain't seen you in 4 or 5 years." He said, "Oh, yeah. We'll go get something to eat or whatever." I said, "Yeah, come on." So when he came in, it was like Michael Jordan had walked in.
Oh, yeah.
And it was at a quartet thing,
Yeah,
Alabama,
a lot of artists,
something. There was a lot
different,
of artists and local artists and different. And it was like the Beatles had walked in. So, and then Danny and Chris and Jeff and Terry, everybody made such a big deal out of him, but you could see his countenance change right then. And it was exactly what he needed. And that started the whole thing. And he and I had talked many times about, we really talked after that night about the possibility of him producing Gold City again. And that's where he showed interest that he would do it. And then when we found out, we're like, well, this has to be.
Yeah, Danny called me one day. We were talking. He said, "What do you think about Gary Jones producing us?" He said, "Josh ran into him," and I said, "Well, we got Michael was already going to be part of it." Yeah. And so then down in Gaston, when y'all had that retreat, December going on
you
2
came
years
down,
ago, and that's when y'all were, saying we really want to use Gary, and so it worked.
It worked, and I think God has honored your decision to allow Gary to be involved and allow us to kind of co-collaborate that album between use some of Michael's production and Gary's production, because 2 of the songs that Michael's produced have now went number 1. Help Is on the Way went number 1 for the year. Gone for Good has went number 1 for the month of March, and now Gary's songs are starting to take notice on gospel radio, and Rise Up's now the number 1 song this week
on the Power 50. And then we found out that it had made a huge jump from 10 to 3, which basically says it looks like it's going number 1. We'll see what happens. You don't ever know.
We're all trying, and it's a great song.
The fans eat it up.
Yeah, it's a great song.
DJs love it.
It's the number 1 song.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And the fact Gary actually wrote the song,
even
makes it more special, and
to know now that with him passing away, and when the Lord was working all this to get him back to a spot of honor, where he was back there, and it's just really, really neat to see that the Lord's in control of it all.
And at his celebration of life service that y'all performed at, that was
great,
incredible. And what you said, Josh, at his funeral was so moving and so natural, and it just flowed out of you. Like, if you prepared, I mean, you couldn't tell.
I had a few little notes that I was going to try to cover, and I said when I got up, I'm just going to talk.
Well,
it come from the heart.
I'm asking you for the first time live. I'd like for you to speak at my funeral, but I'll probably outlive you.
I think there's a good chance. I'll see if Brandy has anything planned for when I'm gone. You may be able to finally get a wife.
Wow. Well, that's.
I mean, it's a sweet deal.
I appreciate it.
She's beautiful and a great woman,
I
tell you.
it.
She told me that she married for love the first time. She was going for money the second if it happened. So,
well, she's going to lose out on both those cases.
We have to do something different there. So where are we go? What do you? One more very neat thing that happened, and this is some of the Gary stuff too. Was the album release that we did? At Franklin Theater. I've got a video. Holly took it. Danny's wife took it, and it's the neatest thing because we went back up. We did that. Jackson did that incredible documentary that's on YouTube about the Right
Awesome.
Now album. It's amazing. But we got to watch that on the big screen. So we went up and did 3 songs, I think, and then we came down and started the documentary. Then when it finished, we went up and Danny said a few things, and then we did Rise Up. And I've got a video
I've seen
Holly took
Yes.
of Gary. So she pans around, and it's Brandy and Gary. She was sent by Gary, and then Gary's sisters were beside him, and Gary was absolutely rocking out. And it's one of the.
He looked like a kid in a candy store.
I wouldn't take
he was
anything.
Somebody sent to. I don't know if it was you or Danny or somebody. Is that on your Facebook or website?
I don't think we posted it.
Yeah, it'll be in the next thing.
But it needs to be up because it's incredible to watch somebody that happy over something that he created with y'all.
Yeah.
And Jackson, I wish he was here today.
I do too.
I mean, he did such a good job on that documentary.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he's incredible. I don't know how much y'all pay him, but you need to pay him a lot more. But I just wish he was here so I could tell him personally.
If you want to send him some money, we don't pay him. I don't know.
He just told me today that Kenny, that he had a video that he's done go viral. Of course, it wasn't one of our videos.
Of course, it wasn't.
What?
Maybe we don't need to pay him.
I don't know.
What? Is he moonlighting on y'all?
Well,
I shouldn't have said that nice stuff about him. He's doing that stuff. I'll take all that back. Can you edit that out?
yeah, we'll take care. Well, unfortunately, Jackson edits this, so that'll probably be the only thing that's on the podcast. What you said.
It'll be a loop. I don't know how much y'all pay him, but you need to pay him a lot more. You need to pay him a lot more. Pay him a lot more. You need to pay him a lot more.
So where are we headed? We got this Christmas album. We kicked around the idea of doing a release party again type thing for the album. We'll see where that goes.
We can do that in the Swiss Alps.
Hey, or Aspen. I don't really want to go.
I'll check it out this year, and then we'll shoot it next year. Well, y'all, I need to. Yes, Josh was talking yesterday about doing a thing at Franklin Theater, a Christmas event,
do an actual
which
video
I think
shoot.
Knowing this far out and really putting the word out, and I think we can fill it up.
I think so too.
It would be incredible Christmas time in Franklin.
That is such
the
an
streets
amazing
and everything.
place.
Oh, the streets will be decorated. And
Okay, when we get through with this, if you will, run on down there and get it secured.
I can always call. I don't really have to go, Josh, but if you want me to. Are
no,
you trying to get
if
me out of the studio?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. We got other guests coming.
You can get management to do it.
Hey, now, y'all, Danny told me to say nice stuff about him. When are we going to talk about
do.
Danny?
We always do. We'll do that later.
You sure?
Yeah. Danny is very upset because he's been on 2. And the only reason he got on one was because you flaked out and went on vacation.
I did.
Yeah. Now, thanks for that.
Kind of like yesterday at the session, he kind of flaked
Just
out.
left.
Didn't-
He'll
he
vapor
didn't even
on you.
show.
He's like a ghost. You
I
could call
know
him Casper if it wasn't a Native American.
Yeah, we cut his big song, and
I
he
know,
shows
he's
up
gone.
after it's
I know.
done, and then he leaves.
Yeah. Well,
Now, Danny, I just want to say this. Danny and I are closer than artist label.
oh, there's
We're
no
closer than friends. Danny and I are brothers.
Yeah.
Really, the good thing about what we all do is, you're not going to get rich in Southern gospel music, probably,
Unless you're Ken Harding.
Well, definitely not as a lead or tenor. Let's put it that
No.
way. Well, I think if we were rich, we'd probably be doing this somewhere else, right?
Probably so, yeah. If we were rich, we wouldn't be doing this.
But what we get to, how we touch people, and Danny, when his mom died, I was able to get there for him, even though my mom was going through some real health issues. But being there for him, and then when my dad died, he said, "We're coming up, and if you want us to sing, we will."
Yeah.
So they sang at my dad's funeral, and then when my mom passed away recently, we were working on the Right Now record, and he had cut the song. Y'all had cut the song "South of Heaven,"
South of Heaven, yeah.
and it wasn't even released yet. No. So Danny drove up and performed at my mom's funeral and sang "South of Heaven" even before it was out. So I knew the comfort it brought me. There's a supplier for us that one of the manufacturers. She told me the other day that she loved that song so much, she's already put it down, that she wants it performed at her funeral.
Yeah.
And
song.
Lori in your office, this song has brought her a lot of comfort with her dad being so ill and then passing. So, that brings me so much joy, in knowing that what we do is helping people through this life's journey, and pointing them to what really matters, and that there's life after this life. There's life after death.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any better than that. When we first started the Florida Boys, we got a letter from a lady, and her son had gone into surgery. And she asked the doctor if they could play the Florida Boys album while he was being operated on.
Wow.
And so the doctor let him. So, while his child is being operated on to save his life, there's some music that we created being played.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you lose sight of that, then you need to go do something else.
This music's not going to make you millions of dollars, but it has an eternal, lasting value that money can't buy.
It absolutely does. And I'm so honored to be with you guys. And once again, Danny's just the greatest friend, and Holly and his whole family. And now y'all are part of family.
Yeah.
And I don't like the word that this is an industry. I like the term we're in the gospel music family, because we're in the gospel family.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to know I love you. I wish Jackson was here so I could thank him personally. And
Well, we'll get word.
We'll relay it.
That.
We want to thank you, and we love you. We want to thank you for all you do for us and your support, and like I said, giving us grace to do certain things and let us live our dreams. That's what we're getting to do.
So which one of y'all is Joe Rogan?
That's the thing. So I was going to tell you, thanks again for joining us on Double Take, the podcast.
Oh, I thought you were Joe and he was Rogan.
Not Rogan. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks. Love y'all. Bye.
There we go. That's how you make the magic right there, boys.